Right, hello my lovely Libras, how are you? How are you really? So, yes, change of scenery again, okay? I'm still figuring everything out, okay? So don't mind me, okay? Alright, so, what do we have for our Libra game, okay? The energy that I was in before the cameras came on was kind of like the energy of kind of like accepting things as they are, or accepting like where we are wrong and things of that nature. Just accepting things for what it is, and accepting that we may be at fault in certain situations, kind of like taking accountability, instead of pointing the fingers at other people and, and instead of trying to force things to be something that they're not, just accepting everything for what it is. So what do we have for our Libra game? Okay. What do we have for Libra game? Okay. So something that I've learned is that really I'm still learning that we can't really change anything outside of ourselves. All we can do is just change our responses to it, and ultimately changing our responses is what allows us to have peace in situations that, otherwise would be pretty complicated. But it's kind of like the serenity prayer, which it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And some things we can't change, but there are things that we can, Alright, so we have the Temperance, the Seven of Cups in reverse, the Five of Swords, okay? What else do we have for Libra game? Okay. What else do we have for Libra game? I'm going to try to get like 2 more cards before I go into this reading here. We're going to pull some clarifiers, okay? Have the Hangman in reverse, and the Justice card, okay? So this is a card of us anyway. So we are in our own element here. We are in our own power here, okay? And like I said, with the things that we can't change, okay, there could be disturbances around us. There could be, this card came out in Taurus's reading as well, but there could be things going on around us, or people around us like annoying us, things of that nature, and in our minds we could be thinking like, just shut up, or like, why are we talking about this, or why is this happening, but it's kind of like, instead of sitting into ourselves, thinking that to ourselves, like, why can't this change, or why is this happening, or why is this person doing this, or why is this person not doing this, we've gotten out of that energy, and also with this Temperance card, this speaks of holding our composure, and with the Seven of Cups in reverse, it's like having our mind made up here, okay? So, like I said in the beginning, just really accepting things for what it is, If the people around us want to act certain ways, if there's like a lot of noise and disturbances, and whatnot, it's almost as if when this was turned this way, it's like we were sitting to ourselves thinking like, how can we change this, or what can we do, or why is this happening, but It's almost as if, Libra gang, we pretty much, this Justice card, she has her sword here, so if this is like a relationship or marriage, Libra gang, for some of the Libras, you could have cut this off with the person because you saw it wasn't changing, okay? Or you could have withdrawn your energy temporarily, okay? Because it's just like in this card, when you were putting up with it, you were putting up with things that we normally wouldn't tolerate, but something I've learned is that in love we tend to kind of excuse the person that we have interest in, so Libra gang, it looks like we at some point of time was willing to put up with things that we were not okay with, things that frustrated us, things that worried us, things that really annoyed us, or things that really brought on unpleasant feelings, because with the Seven of Cups in reverse, it's kind of like, well, this was the person or the job that we knew we wanted, so it's kind of like we were fighting to keep this Seven of Cups in reverse. It's like, I know I love this person, so it's kind of like we have the mentality that I'll put up with whatever. Like, if this is just how this person is, I'll try to deal with it. But, it looks like after a while, we just knew that it was only right that we deserved better. And if that better means having to go without this job or without this person, so be it, So I'm going to pull some more cards here. Okay, yep, and we have the Queen of Swords, Libra gang. Okay, so we are definitely in our own energy here. Okay, the Queen of Swords, she is very logical. Okay, so it's kind of like if me and this person is not on the same page, if this person or if this job is just not aligned with me, it's just not meant for me. I can't force something or somebody to be something or somebody that they're not. All I can do is just, stay logical. If it's not working, move on. So we are very much in our energy here, Libra gang. Okay? And we have the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. Okay? Yeah. And we have the Star card in reverse right here, okay? So it's like something that we wanted to come alive. It just didn't, or it was taking too long, and then we got not so much as impatient, but like I said, we can't change anything or anybody outside of ourselves. So it's just like changing the trajectory from sitting to ourselves wondering, how much longer we're going to be able to tolerate this and things of that nature, to making our minds up that we don't have to sit through this. It's like, I want to be happy on this job, I want to be happy with this person, but I'm not. Because to be with this person, it means that I have to put up with things that, or to be on this job, it means I have to put up with things that rub me the wrong way, or I have to put up with things that just overall don't feel comfortable to me. And with Libra gang, we're all about justice and balance, so it's like we're thinking to ourselves, like, is that fair to me? I love this job, I love this person, whether you're in a relationship or not, or if you're interested in somebody, it's like, I'm interested, I want this, but is it fair to me to have to tolerate things that I normally wouldn't tolerate? Is it fair to me to stay where I am unappreciated? Is it fair to me to stay where I am overlooked? Or is it fair to me, just whatever the case may be, is it fair? Because honestly, Libra gang, with this right here, with this Five of Swords, it's just like, there's a lot of qualities on this job or about this person that's very stressful, but because this was the job we chose, because this was the person that we wanted to issues, okay? Seven of Cups speaks of having your mind fully made up that this is what you want, you know? But it's like, to have this job or to have this person, I have to basically tolerate things that I normally would not want to. I have to tolerate, like if you're in a job where like your boss is like nasty or rude, disrespectful. It's like, I love this job, I make a lot, but I have to tolerate being mistreated and be processed. Is that fair to me? You know, or in a relationship or marriage, it's like, yes, I want this person, but to be with this person, I have to tolerate like rude comments. I have to tolerate not that much effort. I have to tolerate them working through trauma or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, is that fair to me? You know? So Libra gang, for some of you, you may have gotten out of this relationship or marriage, or gotten off this job, or you're contemplating on if you should or not. Because here's the thing, no, it's not fair how things are going, you know, but this is also something that we're dead set on, or a person or a job that we're dead set on. It's like, I know I want this person. I know I love this person. I know I see a future with this person. If you're already married, it's like, I know I want to stay married to this person. But look at what I have to tolerate, you know? Look at what I have to tolerate. And it's kind of like, is it even worth it, you know? Is it even worth it? Is it fair to me? Is, you know, just a lot of deep reflection here. You know, she's thinking very heavy about this. Because, like, this is the job or the man or the woman that I love dearly, you know, and I'm willing to go through a lot with this person or on this job. I'm willing to, because I got the sword, you know, I'm built for stuff like this. But should I have to deal with all of this? Should I have to tolerate all of this? You know, it's kind of like Scorpio's reading, okay, Libra gang? So if you want to check out their reading is called, Should I Really Have to Do All of This? Or something like that. You know, I think it's called, Should I Have to Do All of This? I think that's what it's called. But, you know, so it's like, for a while we may have just been tolerating how things are because we truly love this person or this career path or this, you know, whatever it is. But it's just like, should I really have to deal with this? You know? Should I really be stressed out like this? Should I really be frustrated like this? Should I really be overwhelmed like this? You know? And he's holding his head, so this could very well spell out a complete headache, you know? It's like, I love this person, but they're a headache. I love this job, but it's a headache. You know? So it's like, should I continue to go through this? You know, she's thinking very heavily about this, okay? Queen of Swords, she's very logical. She's very self-reflective, self-aware, and she gets to the bottom of things, you know? And she's, once again, all about justice, okay? All about justice. It's like, I love this person, I love this job, but is it fair to me to have to endure so much just to say that I have this job or this person? Is it fair to me? You know? So I'm gonna pull some more cards, Libra gang, okay? And with this Hangman in reverse, for some of you Libra gangs, you could already have your mind made up on what you're going to do, okay? And if you haven't already, you will. Because this Justice card, that's about making a decision, you know, a fair and sound decision, okay? Oh, okay, so this card tries to come out, okay? We have the Queen of Pentacles, okay? So for some of my Libra gangs, instead of trying to invest in this job or this love relationship or marriage, you could just be focusing on your finances more, getting back in tune with yourself, nature, your spirituality, okay? And she's really going within, like her eyes are closed, she's meditating, she's at peace, okay? So It's like coming from this headache to, just making peace. Like, if that's just how this person is, I can't change them. All I can do is decide on if I want to stay or not. Or if this is a job, it's like I can either stay here and continue to put up with this, or I can just, go to another job, or with this card, especially with this Queen of Pentacles, be my own boss, or be an entrepreneur. Okay? Because I can't change this job. I can't change the way my boss does things. I can't change how my business partner is. I can't change the person I'm in a relationship or marriage with. I cannot change them. All I can do is make a sound decision on what's best for me. That's all I can do. Whatever decision I need to make, it's my job to make a decision that will lead me to this peace, to this freedom. Okay? So what else do we have for Libra game, okay? What else do we have for Libra game? Got the devil at the bottom of the deck here, okay? So, Libra game, it's like we see the situation for what it is. We've given ourselves time to, because one thing about us Libras is we do not make a solid decision until we have gathered enough information and have given this enough time. Because one thing about us, this card, out of every card, this represents Libra the most. This is the Justice card, okay? This is us at heart. Any decision we make, they always look at us as indecisive, but we are not indecisive. We are trying our best to give it enough time and space before we just say, screw it, I'm done. We like to see things on both sides of the coin, So if this is like a relationship or marriage, it's just like, yeah, this person has their flaws. They have their flaws. And they also have good attributes to them. So it's kind of like we take our time to make a decision here. And honestly, Libra game, we could still be in the process of making a decision here, because one thing about us is that we like to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially when it comes to like relationships and marriages. Like, we like to give people time, like we don't always like to just throw in a towel and be like, okay, screw it, this person messed up once. Like, no, we like to make fair decisions. Like, yeah, this person messed up, but it's just like, are they working on themselves? What if they're healing? What if they have learned their lesson? It's like so much goes into the mind of a Libra whenever we're making a decision as to whether we should stay or not, especially in a relationship or marriage, because we see things equally. Like, yes, me and this person, maybe we don't get along, okay? But what about whenever we do? So Libras, we're always sizing up the situation as a whole. That's why it takes us such a minute to actually make a decision. That's why we sit and think for so long. We're known to take the longest at thinking, And I actually think that's a good thing here, Libra. Okay? It's a good thing, because we're not just looking at, the bad attributes. We're also looking at the good times or the good attributes, So if you're dealing with somebody who, maybe like if they're like verbally abusive or something, that's just the bad side of them. But maybe the good side of them is they're inspirational when they're happy, or, they are really cheerful, okay? So it's like we look at this person as a whole. And honestly, that may be another reason why this process of making a decision is taking so long. Because it's kind of like we know that each person, especially if this is romantic, they have a bad side. So it's just like, I see this person's bad side now. I see their quirks. I see the things about them that I don't like. So that allows me to get an even picture of who they are. So if I were to try to move on to somebody else, of course I would only see the goods in this person, but the next person, they're going to have their demons and their flaws as well. You know? So it's just like, we are really thinking about this. You know? Really thinking about this. We know each person has their flaws. For each job, it has its flaws. You know, each career path, everything has its downfalls, and that's something that us Libras know. And we also have the unique ability to see the beauty in these things and in these people. You know, we see the flaws and we see the beauty. So that's why we are known to be so indecisive, because we see both sides of the coins, where most people, they're just like, if it's good, it's good, if it's bad, it's bad. But Libras, we don't think like that. We know that all things have a good and a bad. That's what takes us so long to make decisions. You know? But Libra gang, what will help this process out is knowing what decision will lead to this. What decision will lead to our peace? What decision will cause less stress? Okay? Or which route is less stressful? Okay? Because, you know, like I said, each job, it'll have its trials and tribulations. Okay? Each person, they're going to have their negative qualities. Okay? As well as good. You know? And also, if we decide to just kick it by ourselves, which to me, that's the best bet. You know, that would allow us, if we decide to be to ourselves, to basically hone in on maintaining our own peace, you know, because like I said, if, you know, we're coming from one job to the next, each job is going to have its complications, okay? Or if it's coming from one person to another, each person has their flaws, okay? There's going to be something about each job or each person that annoys us, okay? That's just point blank period. So, you know, for some of my Libras could just be thinking themselves like, maybe I should just be to myself. Like, if this is romantic, you know, maybe I should work on my responses more. Maybe I should work on being more self-aware. Maybe I should work on not allowing the people on my job to bother me so much. Or maybe I shouldn't allow this person that I'm with to get under my skin the way that they do. Maybe I shouldn't pay attention to the negative qualities so much. Maybe I should just, you know, it's kind of like, we're thinking from like a mind, like a more mental place, you know. Just like, what can I change? What can I do? How can I keep myself happy? How can I keep myself afloat? You know? How can I manage my stress level? You know? And another thing here, Libra, that I just got out of nowhere is just kind of like, what inside of us allows us to get so bothered by these people, or by the person that we're with, or coming from, or the person, or the job that we have. Why do we allow ourselves to get so triggered and so bothered or so irritated by the people or the things around us? You know, so once again, self-awareness, okay? Self-awareness. So right here we have the Four of Cups in reverse, okay? So it's like being open to, you know, new opportunities, being open to, you know, just being open to new beginnings here. But the thing is, with us being in our element, in our power, Libra gang, if you are bringing in like a new person or a new job, you know, what's slowing down that process of actually moving forward is the fact that, You know, we see things from a good point and from a bad point, you know. So it's like, this ain't working out. It's a headache, but I'm open to new things. But I also know that that's going to come with its demons and negativity as well. So just fit into ourselves, you know. Now, to some of my Libras who, if this is about finances that we're talking about, you could be thinking to yourself, like I said, with the having your own business and your entrepreneur, you know, because it's just like, you know, every job that you get on is going to be a problem in some type of way. So it's just like, how can I become my own boss? How can I run my own business, okay? Because that's what the Queen of Pentacles is about. She does her own thing, her own time, makes her own schedule, okay? So for some of my Libras, financially, you could be thinking about, how can I do it myself, okay? How can I be my own boss? That way I can control my environment, okay? Now, for my Libras, if this is romance that we're talking about, okay, you could have already made the decision that, okay, me and this person is not aligned, so it's best for me to cut it out. And you could be open to new people, but in a way you're kind of hesitant and like kind of overthinking it a little, because you know that these new candidates or these new people, all they're doing is showing you their best foot forward. All they're doing is showing you their best face, their best qualities, but you know there's a hidden side to these people, okay? So instead of really fully embracing the new opportunities here, Libra gang, honestly, I just see sitting to ourselves and really thinking, okay? And honestly, to my Libras who, if you are kind of like exploring your other options, okay, like if you came out of marriage or relationship, you know, it's kind of like you may be giving the new people a hard time, you know, because it's just like, you're in my face, you saying you like me, you saying this, but what are you hiding? What's the real deal? Like, you see her face over here? She is not playing. She has a whole sword in her hand, okay? And it could be very well be from this situation here, okay? Maybe you got with this person, thought everything was kumbaya, and found out how they truly are, you know. With time, they may have showed their true colors, you know, and it's like you may have stuck around to try to change it, but you realize that it was stressing you out. So it's just like, I can't change this person, so I would just have to move on, okay? So it's just like, you know, I'm also, because you may have thought that this person was this way, but they became this way, it's just kind of like that may have traumatized you in a way a little bit. So now when new people come into the picture, you know, they could be just as nice and polite and kind, but it's like you're seeing through it. You're just like, who's the real you? What's your demon side like? Or what are your bad qualities? What are you hiding? You know, because we know that all things have a good side and a bad side, you know. So honestly, I see a lot of single Libras who are just pretty much focusing on themselves, their coins, maybe building their own business, okay, or just really taking time to self, okay, to figure out what brings us peace, what makes us happy, you know, outside of this job and outside of this relationship or marriage, okay. So what else do we have for Libra gang, okay? You know what? I think I'm going to do, if this is about relationships and marriage, well, I already kind of see how Libra gang views this person. Just pretty much do them like not on the same page, okay? Two completely different lifestyles, okay? Y'all's belief systems may clash, or maybe things about this person, things that they do that really bothers you, and things of that nature, you know. But Libra gang, before I go on, something I will say is that whenever we're with somebody, whether it's relationship or marriage, when we give people space to do as they please, that allows us to see who they are, what they'd rather do, things of that nature, okay? But if we are in this energy, when we deal with people, kind of like my way or the highway, or like get away from me if I don't, like I don't like that, ill, get away from me. If we just give people time and space, to show who they are. Like if they were like, what time you want me to come back or something like that, just, it's kind of like, what time do you think you should come back? What time do you think is an appropriate time to come back? Instead of us setting the tone, because that would allow us to see who this person is and how they really are. So if they were to come in at midnight, that would show us how they feel. That would show us what their definition of appropriate is, So in the beginning, Libra gang, especially with this Queen of Swords, this is not somebody, like, you see how she's sitting? This could actually intimidate people. To where when they come across us, it's kind of like they may feel like they have to behave, like, look at her. It's like either behave or get cut off, okay? So this person could have been kind of like tiptoeing, a little bit, or trying to keep us happy, or, because they know if they didn't keep us happy, the sword, she has it ready, okay, to cut off anybody, okay? And so when we're giving off this demeanor and this impression, anybody who wants to maintain us, they're going to naturally feel like they have to pretend or fall in line or, do things our way. And that's often why when we come across people, they just put their best foot forward at first. And then after a while, that's whenever, their true colors show. Okay? So the only thing I can think of here, Libra gang, is if we, like I said, this Queen of Pentacles, focus on the things that we can change, the things that we can master, Because it's okay to have rules, it's okay to have boundaries, but when it comes to relationships and marriage, if we set rules, that kind of doesn't give this person wiggle room to actually be who they are. So if they are a rule breaker, we won't know that if we're setting down rules from the jump that they have to abide by. And of course they're going to want to abide by them because they're in the process of trying to attain us. They're in the process of trying to win us over. So of course they're going to abide by our rules, But it's like when you get the person, when you get in that relation, when you get in that marriage, that's whenever it's just like, okay, Libra has put her sword down. Now I can finally, be me. Okay? So it's like we would have to really work on our appearance or the vibes that we give off, okay? Because the vibes that she gives off is very serious, very straight. Like, imagine trying to walk up to her and be like, hey, I like you. Can I take you out on a date? You would be really nervous, okay? And during the date, she's just like, okay, so where are you from? What do you want? What are your intentions? What do you like about me? What do you don't like about me? Like, what was your past relationship like? Why did you end that one? Did you cheat? Like, this is not a pleasant vibe, Libra. Okay? She's not even facing the person. She's facing away from them, okay? Giving them the cold shoulder and talking to them from the side of her eye, okay? But with this card, her face is more welcoming. She's more feminine, okay? She's more in her feminine nature here, okay? She doesn't have her sword. She doesn't have, she's not trying to control anything. She's not trying to control an outcome. She's not, okay? She's already at peace. She's happy, okay? But yeah, we kind of have to loosen up, especially like with the new options, okay? If to the Libra gang, if you are wanting to move forward to another person here, it's like how could we welcome in new people, especially like even if it's just friends or like a social life, things of that nature. Like how can we welcome people in, with this energy? How can we welcome people in with this energy? You know? It'll be quite difficult, because people are going to constantly be on guard and on eggshells. I was talking to my sister about this the other day, and the question was, would we want to be with ourselves? And honestly, I said yes, because I'm a sweetheart, I'm kind, I'm very giving, things of that nature, and I love to be there for people, but I got to thinking, like, if I was approaching me, honestly, I would be a little nervous, okay? Because I don't play games with people, and I'm very straightforward and very direct. It's like, either you like me, we're going to make this work, or you confused and you can get away from me. Like, that's the mentality that I have. Like, my patience over time has grown very thin, So I said, yeah, like, I would date me, most definitely, okay? Most definitely. But I would be afraid of me. Because at any given moment, look at that sword. At any given moment, if I start to feel irritated with somebody, okay, I do have a habit of cutting people off. Okay? So, Libra gang, we have to work on honing in on our feminine energy, which is allowing things and people to be as they are instead of, trying to scope them out and look for a certain outcome and look for them to be a certain way. Libra gang, okay, could spell out control issues a little bit here, okay? We have to allow things and people to flow. We have to allow things and people to be who and what they are, okay? That's all we can do. Because Libra gang, here's the thing, okay? Which is something that we already know. But everything and everybody has their good and their bad. So wherever we go, Libra gang, whatever job we get on, whatever person we end up with, they are going to have things about them that we do not like. So what are we going to do each time we notice a flaw in something or somebody? Are we going to continue to cut off these things and these people? Okay? Everywhere we go, there's going to be some type of flaw or something we don't like, Libra gang. Okay? Everywhere and everything. But it's up to us to practice acceptance. Accepting things and people for who they are. If our partner likes to always be with their friends or their family, if that's who we truly love and who we truly want, it's kind of like, how can we make peace with who they are, what they prefer to do? How can we make peace with it? So we can't stop our partners from doing anything. Or we can't stop our boss from being a certain way. The only thing we can control, Libra gang, is ourselves, how we perceive things, how we respond, how we react. Okay? That's all we can do, Libra. Okay? Because if we keep going around cutting people off each time we see a flaw in them, who is she on this boat with? Nobody. Okay? So, Libra, what I'm seeing here is that, we want to be social, we want to be active, we want to be open, we want to be, accepting, okay? We want to be more warm-hearted, we want things like this, we want this relationship, we want this marriage, we want this job to work, okay? We have our mind made up about that, but it's like, You know, for honestly, Libra gang, the choice here that I see is to continue to tolerate this person or this job, or to accept a new offer here, or to explore your options. But either way it goes, Libra, whether we decide to stay in this relationship or marriage or on this job or move forward, they're all going to come with flaws. There's going to be some things about them that we like, and there's going to be some things about them that we don't like, but it's just like who and what is worth it, okay? Who and what is worth accepting, okay? How can we grow to be okay with the flaws that we see about things and people? And another question that I want to ask Libra gang is, do we think that we are perfect? Okay? Are we accepting of our own flaws? Okay? Because here's the thing, Libra gang. We can only treat people how we treat ourselves. So each time somebody has a flaw, or if they do something we don't like, we're quick to cut people off. Okay? But the thing is, you know, which kind of takes a while in this situation for some of my Libra gangs, you may not have fully cut out a job or a person, because you know that all things come with it's good and it's bad, you know, but it's like we have a hard time accepting of that, you know. So the question here that I have, Libra, is, do we not accept our own flaws? Okay, because we have to learn this from somewhere. If we're getting away from and cutting off things and people because there's things about them that we disagree with, okay? Where do we develop the mentality that because it's something we don't like, we have to get away from it? Or because it's something that we, you know, if it's something that is different from what we deem as normal, you know, does that mean that something is wrong with it? Okay? If we think things should go one way, but somebody else thinks it should go another, does that mean that they are wrong? And honestly, Libra gang, it's kind of like also like, do we only see things from our point of view? And when it comes to other people's point of view and their way of doing things, do we kind of like frown down at it because it's different from what we think? So do we think that our opinion is the only opinion there is, or our way of doing, is that the only way of doing? And if this person does something different from what we think we should do, you know, especially with this Queen of Swords, okay, because she can be very hasty with her words as well. So do we talk down to or about the people who do things differently from us? And if we do, why do we do that? Why do we struggle with being accepting of things and people? Why do we feel the need to control things and people that are out of our control? Okay? Why do we struggle with being at peace with the thought of somebody doing things differently from us? Okay? Or why do we focus so heavily on the things that annoy us, okay, instead of focusing on the things that we see the beauty in, okay? Because that's one thing about us Libras. We are beauty seekers. We are known to see the beauty in everything there is, okay? So, you know, whether we stay or move forward, Libra gang, there's going to be things we don't like. So it's kind of like Taurus' reading a very long time ago. Their reading was called Rainy Days or Rainy Times. Y'all should go check that video out. But, you know, it's like there's going to be rainy days, okay, on any job or with anybody. But it's like finding that job, that career path, or that person that we deem worthy of going through the rainy days with. Who Are we okay with accepting their flaws? Okay, each person we date or marry, they're going to have things about them that annoys us. But what person are we willing to tolerate? What person are we willing to accept for who they are? Okay? What job are we willing to accept that is not perfect? But for some of my Libras, though, you could be in a relationship or marriage to where, maybe this person does, do things that you disagree with, but you also see the goods in them too. So you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, should I stay or not? Because this person is not all bad. They have good qualities as well. And I know if I move forward, these people are going to have flaws as well. So should I accept the person's flaws that, I'm dealing with? Okay? Or should I stay where I'm coming from? Should I stay or should I go? Either way it goes, Libra, we're going to have to accept. Okay? If we stay on this job, we're going to have to accept how things are. Or if we stay in this relationship or marriage, we're going to have to accept this person for how they are. Okay? Even if we move on to another job, we're going to have to accept it for what it is. Or if we move on to the next person, we're going to have to accept them for who they are. Okay? But honestly, Libra, gang, it kind of looks like we have an issue or we struggle with accepting things and people for who and what they are. Okay? So like I said, it could boil back down to control issues. Okay? Wanting things and people to behave and be a certain way to keep our anxiety intact or to keep our anger at bay or to keep our frustrations at bay. But here's the thing, Libra gang, especially in a relationship or marriage, like the person that we're dealing with, they cannot mold themselves into somebody to keep us happy. That's not their job. And it kind of takes away from who this person is as a person and as a whole if they're just changing who they are to please us. Like if you want this person to always spend time with you or something like that, what if this person wants to do something different? Does that cause an argument, or is something wrong with that? Or do you feel like your way is the only way, Or do we feel that our way is the only way? Why do we have such a hard time accepting this person's opposing points of view, Or why do we have a hard time accepting that they'd rather do something different, Why do we want things done our way? Or why do we feel like, only our way is the best way? Okay? So, I don't know, Libra gang. We could be like borderline narcissists a little bit, okay? Wanting things our way. And if it's not our way all the time, we seem to have a problem with it, But truth of the matter is, Libra gang, wherever we go, there's going to be flaws. And we know that. Either way it goes, Libra gang, we're going to have to work on being more accepting. Okay? There's a big difference, Libra, between tolerating somebody and actually accepting them, okay? There actually is a very big difference, okay? When you tolerate somebody, okay, that's whenever this card pops into the picture. Like, they get on your nerves, but you're just like, okay? But when you actually accept a person or a thing, you become at peace with it, okay? If you're truly accepting something, Libra gang, that doesn't mean to keep our annoyance at bay. Okay, if we're low-key feeling irritated or annoyed with this person or our job, that's a sign that we don't fully accept our job or the person that we with for who they are. we're just tolerating them and trying our best to keep our anger at bay. That's not accepting, Libra gang. That's tolerating. Okay? There's a big difference. But when we are accepting this job and how our boss is, how our friends are, how our family is, or how our partner is, when we accept them, we see the beauty in who they are as a person, you know? So it kind of goes from, yes, this person kind of gets on my nerves, or my family, or my boss, but that's okay, you know, in a peaceful way. Not in a covering up the annoyance, covering up the irritation, you know, but actually accepting them for who and what they are. You know, if this person or your boss is doing things if they're doing things that go against what we would like, you know, not allowing that to disturb our peace, okay? Because, once again, we cannot control people. We can't control their actions. We can't control our boss, okay? All we can do is control our reactions, control our response, control our demeanors, control whether we get irritated or not, you know. It's all about acceptance, Libra gang, okay? Instead of being in this energy of do things my way, we should spend this much time together, we should do that. Don't do this, do that. I don't like that. Okay? That's what this energy spells out. And it's kind of like, if you can't get with that, then you just get cut off. But Libra gang, that's not how love works. And I'm just now learning that myself. I'm a Libra, okay? I'm just now learning that people are not supposed to just do things that I want them to do. I'm learning now that people are not supposed to just crumble over to my every word and demand. Like, people have their own mind, okay? Like right here. The guy in the background, he's doing his own thing. Why is that bothering him? Okay? What that person is doing back there, that has nothing to do with this guy right here. You know? But it's like he's allowing his negative thoughts, which could be the bird symbolizing that. He's allowing his negative thoughts, you know, to overwhelm him. You know? This person back here doesn't have to stop yelling just because he wants him to stop yelling. Or if he's back there dancing or whatever he's back there doing, he doesn't have to stop what he's doing just because it's annoying him. Okay? So, Libra gang, it all boils down to acceptance. Because one thing about us, we represent these scales, justice. So this is about equality, good and bad. Not just good and not just bad. But we are to be balanced, Libra. We have to take a balanced approach. Whoever we are around, or whatever career path we go on, it is going to be balanced. It can't just be all good. And I actually hate that. As a Libra, I hate that whoever I come across romantically, they won't be perfect. They won't always basically keep me happy. They won't always do things that I agree with. And that actually does frustrate me as a Libra. Okay? But back to our sign. We're about scales. We're about balance. Okay? We have to stay balanced within so we can allow the people around us to be themselves, which is balance of both good and bad. Whoever we're with, Libra, they can't always keep us happy. They can't always do good. They won't always, you know, do things the right way or the way that we want them to do it. They're not going to always do that because they're their own magical person, you know. They're their own person, so they're going to make mistakes. They're going to have flaws. They're going to have their shortcomings. Okay? There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be times of argument. There's going to be things they do that annoy us. Whoever we end up with, whether we go back to this person or stay with this person or move forward. Or whether we go back to the job or stay on this job and move forward. Everywhere we go, Libra, there are going to be good and bad. And that's a harsh reality because we would like for things to always be peaceful. We would like for things to always be in harmony, but that cannot happen, Libra. Everything in this world is balanced, meaning it composes of both good and bad. You know, and that does kind of suck. You know, as a Libra, I can honestly say, like, that really does suck. Like, it really, 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 really does. You know? Like, why can't this job just be perfect? Why can't everybody just get along? Why can't, you know? And that could be the questions of this card. Just really annoyed. Like, why can't this person just act normal? Or why can't my boss just be nicer? Or why can't, you know, just why can't they just, you know? But it's not that simple, Libra gang. You know? The people around us are entitled to do as they please, which will allow us to see who they truly are if we give them space to do that, you know. But everything can always be, you know, peaches and cream, and that really does suck, you know. If I could take this world in my hands and just sprinkle a whole bunch of perfection in it to where everything was kumbaya and there was no crime, no violence, everybody was happy, to where everything was just all beautiful. Libra gang, if I could do that, I promise you I would. But God made things equal, meaning that He sprinkled a little good and a little bad in everything and everybody. And we have to try to find a way to be okay with that. You know? And the only way that that can happen is if we take a balanced approach and become balanced with ourselves, Libra. Are we accepting of our own flaws? Because in this picture right here, she has her best makeup on, her best scarf, her best clothes, got on some real nice lotion, okay? So what if she didn't have on the perfect makeup? What if she didn't have on that perfect scarf? What if she didn't have on that perfect dress? Would she still feel beautiful? You know? And as a Libra myself, really any Libra you come across, we like to dress well, we like to look nice, or we like to smell nice because it makes us feel really good. And whenever we don't look our best, things of that nature, that's whenever, you know, we tend to be more grouchy. Like, you can't really name a Libra that can just wake up and just go outside. Like, we're going to look in the mirror, okay? So it's kind of like, Libras, do we not accept our own imperfections? Do we not accept our own flaws? Because once again, we can only treat people how we treat ourselves. You know, if we're annoyed by this person's flaws and this person's shortcomings, we have to, in some shape or way, be annoyed with our own shortcomings and beat ourselves up. Maybe we're too hard on ourselves, Libra gang. So in turn, we naturally are harder on the people around us, because that's how we treat ourselves. Okay? So once again, it's all about acceptance. And honestly, Libra gang, our acceptance is really going to have to come from within. We have to first accept ourselves. We have to first accept the fact that we are not perfect. You know, we make mistakes. We say the wrong things, or we do the wrong things. And we, you know, instead of pointing the fingers at everybody else, like I said in the beginning, it's all about us. What parts of us can we control? You know, if this person is back here being loud, what can we do? Okay, instead of sitting there and being irritated, why not just go in the other room or put in some earphones? Okay, so it's just all about taking accountability and doing what's right for us. Okay, instead of always looking at what the other people are doing, things of that nature. Like on our job, for instance, like I said, if your boss is real bossy, things of that nature are rude, okay? We can't change that. Even if you were to have a talk with your boss, you can't change that. Only thing you can do is just, smile and be like, this person obviously is miserable in their own lives to come to work and talk to us like this. They must not be happy in their own personal life. So I accept this person for how they are. Because I know if they were genuinely happy, they wouldn't be coming into work talking to all of us workers like this. You know? So we just have to work on controlling the things that we can. Praying for serenity, praying for acceptance if we don't know how to accept. And I myself as a Libra, I still don't know how to fully accept people and things for as they are. Okay? So Libra gang, just know you're not alone, okay? And it takes time, but it all starts with us. We have to first learn to accept our own flaws, accept our own mistakes, our own shortcomings, so that way we can be more gentle with the other people around us and more accepting with them, okay? So, yeah. So it's kind of like torn between stay or go, all because of this flaw. There's a flaw in the job that you're on, a relationship or marriage, there's a flaw that annoys us. But wherever we go, Libra gang, there's going to be some flaws that annoys us. So are we going to stay and learn how to accept, or are we going to move forward? But either way it goes, we're going to have to accept that new person and that new job as well. Okay? So, yeah. I pray that this reading helped you all out, Libra gang, and gave you food for thought and much insight for your situation, okay? And know that you're not alone, and know that I love you dearly, and know that you are worthy even on your bad days, even when your hair is not done, even whenever you don't smell that well, or even whenever you're not dressed that well, you're still handsome, or you're still beautiful, okay? But our acceptance, it starts with us. We have to get comfortable with our own flaws first before we can accept the next person's flaws. Okay? So, yeah. That's what I would just say. This time that you're taking to yourself, Libra gang, it's time that we're taking to ourselves to really pray for acceptance, pray for serenity, okay? So that way we can be at peace with ourselves and at peace with the people around us, even whenever, things that we disagree with pop up, okay? So, yeah, I'll let you guys go, Libra gang. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, toodles!